Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to our second Repsly webinar. The first one was a success. We were very pleased and pleasantly surprised by the turnout. We have more this time, which is wonderful, a lot more RSVPs. So thank you so much for your time. And we really do hope that these sessions are going to be of great use to you guys. So this is our last webinar of the year. So we will proceed with these sessions next year. Okay, so this is our product updates and developments webinar. Just click on the things so I can scroll. Fantastic. Okay, so I just want to give you a quick rundown into the webinar purpose and any additional details that you need to know before we begin. So why do we set up this webinar? It's because we do understand that a monthly email alone is not always sufficient. You know, sometimes they can get lost in your ever-growing email inbox. Maybe it's marked as spam by accident because, you know, the spammers will just not leave us alone. And also sometimes just having it on paper is not enough to really convey the value of what a product development can have for your team. So product descriptions can be misunderstood. So that's why this webinar is really great for clarity. So these webinars, the intention is to provide an interactive introduction and showcase of product releases. So then it helps you assess their relevance to your business. So you can see it firsthand, understand, and any clarifying questions that you need to ask to understand if this is useful to you, we are here and we can answer them immediately. These sessions are designed to encourage active participation and questions. So please, any questions that you have, please post them. We will try and answer as many of them as we possibly can in our designated Q&A section of the session. Okay. These sessions will also serve as a reminder of our support channels. So where you can send your general or technical queries and just an overview of our product development process. Okay. These webinars, as mentioned earlier, are going to run quarterly. So the next one is planned for February 2026. So after the festive season and the new year is kind of wound down and we're back into our grinding phases, then we can proceed with our webinars. Okay, just a couple of house rules before we get started. Please use the chat section. So you will see you should have a little icon that says Q&A. So that is the designated platform where you can post all of your questions. Okay, so we're not going to answer them during the webinar slideshow. We have a designated Q&A section. So we will go through those posted questions and we will answer them to the best of our ability. So we will address them during that specific section. With that in mind, please note that the microphones are not enabled, so you will not be able to speak. So please use the chat function as your way of posting questions or communicating your comments, feedback, whatever it is that you would like to communicate. Okay, then just a recording notice. The session is being recorded, like I mentioned earlier, and the recording as well as the deck will be shared with you after the webinar concludes. Okay, so our agenda for today, 3 simple ones, but we've got some very exciting features that we're going to be covering today. So the first is the recent Repsly product releases, so what is currently available to you now that you can start testing and making use of. Then the second is coming soon, so what Repsly has in the pipeline that we are already getting a lot of buzz about and can really bring a lot of value into your use of Repsly. And then the third one is general resources about the support, product development processes, and then the designated Q&A section. Okay. So with that, we're going into section 1. So I am going to stop my screen so that we can focus on the presentation. Okay. Just in case, can I just get another round of thumbs up just to make sure you can still see the presentation? Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay. So agenda point 1, our Repsly product developments. So we want to give you insights into our recently launched releases. Okay, so there we go. So just before we get into that, it is a requirement for me to read Repsly's disclaimer. So just please bear with me on this particular slide. So this product roadmap is intended to outline our general product direction and not a commitment to deliver any material, code, or functionality. Please use this roadmap for information purposes only. It should not be relied upon in making purchasing decisions. The development, release, and timing of any features or functionality described for Repsly's products remains at the sole discretion of Repsly. Okay, now we can get into the fun stuff. Okay, so this is a very exciting feature which is currently in beta testing. So this is available for everyone that is on the Repsly system. Just to mention, it is admin-based, so to set this up. So it's called time-based form visibility rules. So this is the first development in a long line of rule builder developments that Repsly is intending to work on. So the purpose of this is to easily schedule when forms appear to the reps by setting custom date windows. So you can see in the screenshot attached, just gives you a little bit of a snapshot into how this works. So if you were to open the form templates now and you click into a created form, or even if you open a new form to create one, you will see to the top, you have your usual form builder, your visibility settings, and your alerts. There will be an additional tab called rules. So this is where you will be able to find it. So reps will only see the forms that are relevant right now, reducing clutter and ensuring compliance. So what this means is with this form builder, you are able to stipulate very pedantically start dates or date ranges, with a start date and end date, as to when you want this form to be visible to the representatives. So especially this is helpful if a form is, say, seasonal, or there is a form that is only relevant for a campaign in a specific month, and you want it to only run for that month. This will then allow reps to only have visibility of those forms that are relevant or active for that particular period, reducing the need for them to scroll through and have a list of all active forms that may or may not be relevant for them at that time. So you as an admin can automate form availability without manual activation/deletion. So if you were to put an end date in this example here that you see on the screen, so for example, my start date is the 1st of November, my end date is the 28th. From the 28th, that form is going to be deactivated. So you don't have to manually go and switch it off. That is already done for you. And this is currently in beta testing. So what this means is, A, it is available to all of you on the admin system, so you can go and start testing it out. And B, because it is in testing, we would love to hear your feedback. So if there's any comments about how wonderful it is and how it's making life so much easier, we would love to hear that. Or possibly any suggestions you may have to make it a bit more relevant or user-friendly. Any sort of feedback that you are willing to share with us, please do. You can send that through to us via our support channel, support@repsly.com, or you can contact us directly with our Repsly emails. Okay, then we have matrix questions with store-level product data. So just a quick recap for anybody that hasn't heard too much about matrix yet. Matrix is a new form question type. With the ultimate goal of having this function replacing retail audits. So retail audits are going to be grandfathered eventually, and you will have the matrix form builder as a replacement. So the great thing about a matrix form question is, as you can see in the screenshot, it gives you the freedom to, instead of having a very long, possibly tedious, lengthy form, you are able to customize your questions into a sort of a table format, as you can see in the screenshot. So matrix form questions provides you a lot more flexibility as opposed to a retail audit, where retail audits you could only answer very specific questions. There wasn't a lot of freedom to tailor make it to your user case or your business objective. With a matrix form question, you have a lot more flexibility to do that. So for example, you have rows and you have columns, as you can see in the screenshot. So your rows, I like to describe them as your variables. Now, the variables are usually products that you would like to collect data for a survey, for an audit, anything along those lines. So as an example, we have a beverage audit in the screenshot. So you have Coke, Sprite, Fanta, Mountain Dew, etc. And then the questions you would like to pose that the reps are going to answer, they are represented in the columns of the matrix form question. So in this case, was the product on the shelf, yes or no? Was the price on shelf? And where was the product located on the shelf? So this is just a very basic introduction into matrix. Matrix is already available in Plans, Grow, Scale, and Flex. Okay. So now the Repsly teams are intending to release a lot more development with Matrix to make it as dynamic as possible to fit a wide range of use cases for you. So they have already released quite a bit, and the intention is to release more. Right. So what we have live right now is APLs. So pull store level product data into Matrix questions for a highly tailored audit flow. So anybody that's not aware, an APL is an approved product list, which is essentially the master list as to what products are expected at the stores. Okay, so you are able to assign approved product lists to your stores, and then you can use that to auto-populate variables or the rows within a matrix. So eliminating that manual free entry, especially if you have a lot of products that you would like to audit that could take a lot of time and can be pretty tedious. So the APLs not only remove that admin work, but also ensure that your surveys are a lot more relevant, streamlined, and consistent. Okay, so auto-load these store-level products from approved product lists for an efficient rep experience. Filter products with product tags for a fully dynamic list. So say, for example, for store A, you have your APL list that consists of 150 products that are expected at the store. Now, for your particular form, you want to survey only a subsection of those 150. So say, using the screenshot as an example, you have a product tag of beverage that pulls up about 45 of your 150 loaded products, and you only want to survey those. You can then assign the product tag beverage as an example to the matrix, and then all of those 45 are going to be populated as the rows or variables in your matrix. Okay, so it just really streamlines it and make sure that the reps only see what is relevant to the survey. And then, as mentioned, this reduces manual entry with relevant preloaded inputs. Okay. Then another matrix relevant update, we call it Streamlined Matrix Experience on Mobile. So improvements to matrix experience on mobile will enable faster, more structured product audits. So this is keeping in mind any surveys or audits that have quite a lengthy list of products attached to it for survey. It just makes the reps' lives a little bit easier, and also have the form submission process faster and more streamlined. So for example, especially in the case of a long list of products, we have now a search bar to the top, as you can see in the provided screenshots. So you are able to draw into products based on their product code, their name, or even their EAN-barcode. Now what is also a possibility is to edit submitted answers. So like you would be able to edit submitted answers for general form questions, this is now available for within a matrix question as well. Initially, when Matrix was released, we had 3 question types. So you could do yes or no, single answer, or numeric. We have now added the function of adding a photo question. So now, as you can see in the first screenshot, your reps are able to take visual evidence or visual data as an answer to questions posed within the Matrix form. And now as well, which is very relevant to the admins, you can mark questions as mandatory within a matrix form question to make sure you collect the metrics, KPIs, trends that are relevant to you and that is required for your reporting. Okay, then also related to Matrix, as mentioned, the teams are really focusing on Matrix because this is going to revolutionize the way that reps and admins approach surveys and audit capture. So another function that has been released is autofill and sharing of form matrix. So many of you will probably recall with general form questions, you are able to autofill either select questions or the form as a whole. So just to give you an understanding of what that means, if some people are not aware, you are able to autofill. So what that means is the system is going to remember that particular rep's answers in this particular form in the previous visit at that store, and then it will pull that data into the current form. So this is usually very helpful if answer submissions don't change all that much between store visits and you want to save the reps a little bit of time so that it's not a tedious exercise of having to answer every question over again. So you can select autofill for singular questions or for the entire matrix question, depending on what is required. And we also have now a printer-friendly view, so you can access this in the activities feed. If you click on a submitted form, you will have the option to the top right of your screen. Okay, so printer-friendly view allows you to print or save submissions for offline records. And simplified sharing, as I've mentioned, allows you to email matrix submissions via mobile or generate a shareable link from them. Okay. Group answers into teams. Okay, so teams is a relatively new feature, was released over the course of this year. Just to note that teams is currently in the flex plan. But teams is a really great way to, in a nutshell, ensure strictness of visibility between multiple teams that could be using the same account. I have a sneeze, just hold on a moment. And it doesn't come, typical. Apologies for that. Okay, so essentially teams allows you to manage large teams and restrict information between teams that do different work. And then this becomes seamless with the use of teams. So as an example we very commonly use is, say there is a beverage company making use of Repsly, a tailor or services different accounts or markets, for example, Pepsi and Coke. So you have merchandisers on the system that belong to Pepsi and Coke. So now it stands to reason as competitors, you wouldn't want the merchandisers to be able to see the movements of the opposing team, because that, is counterintuitive. And then for admins as well, you only want them to have access to what is relevant to them. So teams is a way to strictly adhere to these lines in the sand without any risk of the lines overlapping. So what you can do is create and assign users to teams on the admin side to manage large teams with more control and efficiency. You can control access to information so reps and managers stay focused and only see what they need to execute their work. And you can also assign forms to other activities to teams to ensure the right work reaches the right people. So what we mean by that is, as you can see in the screenshot, when you click onto the visibility settings within a form template, you still have your place tag restriction, your user restriction, but now there's a teams restriction as well. So then that does also eliminate quite a bit of admin, because then only the admin users and the reps who are part of that team will have access to those forms. Okay. So I clicked the mic and I can't do it. There we go. So the next slide, also relevant to teams, is we have now extended the team visibility to more features. So what this means is you can now limit access by team to sales documentation. For easy editing and management of teams, you are able to make them active or inactive. And you can also control project visibility by team. So if you're on the scale or flex packages and you may be making use of teams, you will be able to assign a project in its entirety to a subset of your account, which would be then, of course, incorporated into the team. Okay. So that is the first agenda item. So the product developments that have been released so far. So now we're getting into another exciting section, which is the coming soon. So these items that the Repsly product development team is working on at the moment, and we are expected to see in the near future. Right. So our first one on the agenda is redesigned place management with more filters. So this functionality is currently in early access. We're not 100% clear on timelines yet for when it's going to be released to everybody. Of course, once we have that clarity, we will be sure to update you guys. But essentially, this is a more modern, consistent design within the Places tab. So when you open Places and you click on a particular store, which will make it easier to find information and update places a lot faster. So as you see, which is a very exciting feature for our team personally, is, as you're probably aware, in the old flow, you could load a store to the system, but then you couldn't assign an account to the store within the same flow. You would have to load it, and then you'd have to go and assign the account after the fact. With the new UI, you are able to assign the account right there and then in the place profile, which is excellent. It's going to save you a lot of admin back and forth, especially. Then what we also have is some additions to the place filtering. So you will now be able to filter multiple accounts at once. So a compilation filter for accounts instead of having to do it one by one. And you will be able to find places with no reps assigned. So an exclusion report, essentially. Where at the moment, you are only able to filter for stores with reps assigned to them. There is no way to find those stores without reps assigned unless you do an Excel spreadsheet export. So now with this, you will be able to do an exclusion, which for me personally is a really great feature. I'm very excited for this to be released. Okay. Then on the same trend for Matrix and streamlining it further and making it as much of a dynamic functionality as possible, we have new tools for efficient auditing that is coming soon. So major upgrades to Matrix questions make auditing faster, data capture richer, and on-site work easier for reps. Okay, so just as an example for the first point, you will see in the second screenshot on the screen, the variables or the row items, those product names are fairly lengthy. So you will not be able to see the entire product name in this example, which can be a bit confusing to your field team, especially if product names are somewhat similar and the differentiating factor comes towards the end of the product name. This can cause confusion. So in this case, what the team is working on is allowing you to access full product details. So by clicking on the first one, for example, if you click on it, you will be able to view the extended info, for example, the ID, the barcode, the description, and the thumbnail without cluttering small screens. Okay, and now they are also working on adding, sorry, I beg your pardon. Okay, then we have multiple select questions. So as I mentioned earlier, at the moment we have yes or no, single answer, and numeric. We have just added photo. So now the intention is to add multi-select questions as well, giving you a lot more flexibility into what questions you can ask. And then finally, the team is intending to add a barcode scanner. So for anybody that is making use of sales orders or retail audits, you would have noticed that there is a barcode scanner. This is going to be introduced into the Matrix as well. So how this would work is, especially if you have a lengthy product list and the rep wants to drill into a very specific result to make the audit process a lot faster and a lot more efficient, they will be able to have the product in their hand. They can open the barcode scanner, as you can see to the top right of the second screenshot. They can scan it, and then that will automatically be populated out of your matrix rows or your variables. Okay, which is going to speed it up significantly. One thing I must mention then is barcode scanning will only work if the product loaded to the system has a barcode assigned to it in the product export and import. If the barcode is empty, then the barcode scanner will not work. Okay, so just a heads up there. All right, then we have edit submitted data for branched form questions. This is also something I am pretty excited about. It's going to give the admins especially a lot more flexibility here when it comes to adjusting submitted forms. So improve data accuracy and reduce rework by allowing edits to submitted responses. So as some of you probably know already, if you have a form question, which we call, say, the parent, and then you have conditional actions or branching linked to it, you are not able to make adjustments to the parent because you get this edit notification here. This question is branching, it cannot be edited. So reps and admins will then be able to modify the parent responses to correct or change form flow without re-entering data. So sometimes in this case, you would have to copy the form, make your changes, and then have it submitted over. That's all going to be eliminated with this new function. With it as well, you will be able to preserve form logic. So parent-child relationships stay intact, ensuring data remains accurate after edits. And then you can expand editing flexibility. So that is the main goal that Repsly is working towards right now, essentially giving you full autonomy of the editing of submitted forms. So in the future, there will be no restrictions to what you can make adjustments to. It will all be up to the admin to make adjustments where you feel it is necessary. Okay. All right, so those are the two main agenda items. So we can now go into our resources and Q&A section. So we're going to go into the Q&A section right now. So if you just give me a moment, I'm going to go into the Q&A chat box and just have a look at what's happening there. Okay, hello, Albert. I see you have some questions for me. All right, so your question is, we have seen in the past when we make a form inactive, the data disappears. Is the update fixing that for us? Okay, so Albert, I'm not aware of this issue. As far as I recall, we don't have any recent reports on that. So if this were to happen again, can I please suggest that you send some screenshots and some additional info to us at support@repsly.com. It sounds like it could be something that we need to address for you specifically. Okay, so just keep an eye on that, send it over, and then any additional questions that we have for clarity, we'll be sure to share that or pose them to you. Okay, who and where can we edit answers, web admin or app users? Okay, so it's essentially both. So at the moment, if a rep is given access to edit their form submissions, after submission, they are able to go in and make adjustments, but the focus within this particular deck is for the web users. So if you are referring to the form submissions for the branching, and when you see the print-friendly preview, things along those lines, we are addressing that to the admins. So they are able to go into a submitted form within the activities feed, and they can make adjustments to the answers that the reps have submitted. And then, of course, with the template changes, that will, of course, be then related to the web users as well. Okay. Then when selecting the delete schedule option in Repsly, could an additional field be added for an end date? This would allow users to specify a date range, start and end for deletion, rather than only having the starting from date currently available. Okay, that is fantastic question. So we do already have a development request loaded for this. You are not the only requester. So what I will do is with your name here, I will go and add a proxy vote to that for your particular team. And then I will keep you updated with any traction that we get on that particular request. So let me just add you here in my little notebook so I can go and add a proxy vote for you. End date for schedule deletion, but perfect. Thank you so much for that. Later on, I will also go through just the product development process, as this is linked to your particular question here. So thank you so much. But yes, you are not the only requester. We have loaded a development request for this. I will make sure that your voice is added to it, and any traction or any feedback we get on it, I will be sure to share it with you. Okay. I'm just going to give everybody a minute or two. Any other questions that you maybe want to pose before we move on to the next slides? Anything you need? Oh, I see another one. Under form templates, can we create a quiz to tell when an answer is correct or not? Okay, so quiz type questions is not available within the form templates. The main purpose of the forms is to gather the data required from the market, to assist you with reporting trends, collection of metrics or KPIs, things along those lines. So quizzing is not really a supported function where it would say, okay, the answer that the rep has provided is yes or no. You can create a quiz in the form template, and then you as the admin would have to pull that into an export or just have it visible in the activity feed, and then you would have to do that work of understanding whether something is right or wrong and then sharing that with the rep. You can make use of the commenting functionality, possibly if you wanted to share the results with the rep directly within the system. So as an example, you create the form quiz, template, the rep goes and answers it, you have a look at it, and then in the activity feed, when you've opened the form question up, there is a commenting functionality. So the commenting functionality is a sort of a two-way communication between you and the rep related specifically to that task. So in this case, the quiz form. So you can go through the answers as an example, and then in the comment, you can share your feedback. So what is right, what is wrong, if you want to give them a score, something along those lines, you can use that as a way of in-app communication. Okay. But that was a very interesting question. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so oh, I see there's more. Let me go ahead. Okay, any AI product recognition functionality coming through? Oh, that's a great question. Thank you so much. So image recognition is a functionality available on Repsly. It is available in the higher packages as an add-on, and they are currently making developments on that. One I am aware of is product tag recognition. So we have a productized image rec functionality within the mobile app called Shelf Scan. So essentially the reps make use of Shelf Scan to take photographs of the shelving within the market. So say you have categories like body care, beverage, mouthwash, things like that. You will have the designated questions within your Shelf Scan flow where you can take pictures of those relevant categories. And then there are two functions that can come about from Shelf Scan. So either we have something called Shelf Assist, which is a sort of a live feedback flow on shelf availability. So the rep will take a picture of the shelving or the relevant drops, and within 60 seconds, the system is going to come back and tell you, okay, we are seeing gaps in availability for product A, B, C, and D. Then with that, they are able to then action corrective processes. So maybe going to the back and see if there's any stock there and restocking the shelf, maybe placing an order, something along those lines. And then you also get live feedback if there's any issues with the pictures themselves. So if they perhaps tilted, if they blurred, and then the rep can actually go and fix that immediately. The other flow is, so that I've just mentioned with Shelf Assist is called our real-time flow. Now there's a non-real-time flow where we have image recognition dashboards. So those images from Shelf Scan are then going to go through to our AI training provider. They're going to flow into the image recognition dashboards, and they will give you feedback on on-shelf availability, share of shelf, out of stock, product placement, things like that. So those are already functions that are available just in the higher packages. And just to answer your question more directly, they are currently looking at price tag recognition. So to be able to understand, is the pricing captured within the photos correct? Are they under or overstated? Are price tags missing? Things like that. So this particular question poser, if there's any additional clarity that you may need there, or maybe any decks showing you the functionality, please don't hesitate to reach out to us and we will provide that to you. Okay, then the next question, wow, we have quite a few questions here. Let's see. Edited. Will there be audit logs showing which submitted forms have been edited? So great question. I'm not aware of anything like this at the moment. What I will do is ask about that for you, just to understand if that is a feature that is being looked at. But that's a great question. I will go and have a look at that for you. I'm just making a note. Okay, next question. Okay, next question. Will the matrix form question only work well with products on the app, or can we manually add other materials? So great question. So for matrix form questions, we have a product tag assignment, which I did take you through, but there is also free entry. So it doesn't have to be product specifically. If there's any variables or row items that you want to have a specific set of questions linked to that the rep needs to gather information for, you can put that in manually. So any sort of way you want to be able to use the form matrix to collect your information, you definitely can. It's just a very nice way to highlight the benefits of matrix by using products as the variables, but products is not mandatory. You can free entry any rows that you need. Okay. Okay, also on this, can they make the rep selection multiple select instead of all or only one? Okay, I'm assuming this is referring to rep filtering within the places tab. If this user can just comment if I'm correct or not. But that is something that I can check for you. I'm not familiar of any communication that has been shared on this so far, but that is something I can definitely check for you. Rep selection. So you want to be able to multi-select reps instead of one or all of them, I'm assuming. Okay. Multi-select instead of all or only one. Okay, perfect. I will definitely check that for you. Okay. Let me just see. Okay, I'm just making note of the submitters of these questions so that I can answer you after the fact. Okay, the next question. Okay, can we add more than one account to an overview? Example, Ackermans, Checkers, and ShopRite point of sale to see all of them at once, to allow us to see the data in one. So I would need some clarity on that, you know, the submitter of this particular question. If you can send me a direct email, please, and I will be able to answer you specifically. If you are referring to the places filter, I'm not 100% certain. We would have to have that be released first to understand if it's filtering by one account only or multiple. I can definitely check that for you. But if I'm not understanding your query 100%, if you can just send me a direct email or sending it to support@repsy.com, I will be able to assist you there. If you have any screenshots or examples that you can share, that would make it a lot easier too. Okay. Okay, I'm just reading through your questions. One more. Oh, in the schedule deletion. Okay. So can they make the rep selection multiple select instead of all or only one in the schedule deletion? Okay. Thank you so much for that clarification. I will definitely check that for you. Okay. In schedule deletion. That's a very good point to bring up. Thank you so much for that clarity. Okay, I think I've answered all of your questions that I see in front of me. Okay, I'm just going through them to make sure I haven't missed anybody. I want to be as helpful as possible. Mhm. Okay, all right, that's everything for now. So if there are any questions that come up afterwards, maybe that you forgot to pose, or any additional clarity required for any of the slides that I've shared, please reach out to me directly or send an email to support@repsly.com. Myself and my wonderful colleagues will be able to help you should you send them through to us. Okay. So just for the sake of time, I'm going to go through the rest of the slides. So we just wanted to cover some helpful resources here. So we do have our knowledge base. So this is the link here that you can paste it to your URL. So our knowledge base is essentially all of the articles that have been posted, linked to the usage and some general tips and tricks on the mobile function as well as the web function. So this is your one-stop shop for any research or particular reading you want to do with regards to the Repsly apps. It is a really great feature, and you would know if you send us support queries on a regular basis. The links that we send you with the how-to guides, they come from this knowledge base. So the knowledge base is really helpful. If you're not familiar with it, I would recommend that you go and have a quick squiz. It is a gold mine, most definitely. And then just for support, any general queries that you have, clarity on any function, any technical issues that you would like to log, please send us an email to support@repsly.com. That will be generated as a support query or a ticket, and myself and my colleagues will be able to jump in and assist you. Just also as a general note, please remember it's support@repsly.com and not .co.za. Okay. Okay, and then we just wanted to quickly go over the general process when it comes to development requests. So just to clarify, a development request is anything that you see that is absent from the web or mobiles that you think would make the use of Repsly a bit more user-friendly, maybe a bit more efficient, or you just have any suggestions on changes to some functionality, we can submit a development request for you. So we can load any development request that you have in mind in our request system. What we need from you to make sure that it is as clear as possible for our product team to go and review is a use case. So explain to us why this particular development is of importance or needed by you and what the impact is to the business. If we have an impact statement, it is very likely that it will be looked at and considered more carefully if they have that use case very clearly laid out for them. Okay, requests are then assessed by our development team with a global view. So A, are there similar requests already in the system? So can we address multiple people's requests or pain points using one development release? And then B, does this request work for many businesses or users? So is it user-friendly? Does it cover a large array of use cases or business industries? What is its diversity in this case? So those are the two main points, which again is why a use case provided by you is so helpful. Then the team then makes a decision to develop it or not. All requests remain in the system and are regularly reassessed. Okay, requests which are not in our area of focus will not be closed off or will be closed off, so meaning they will not be implemented by the team. If we get feedback along those lines, we will be sure to share that with you. Okay, and then just as a disclaimer, we cannot guarantee any requests will be developed. We also cannot ever confirm timeframes for requests, as this is at the sole discretion of the product development team. Okay, and then just a reminder, our next session is going to be in the new year, so in February of 2026. And then, as mentioned, please feel free to reach out with any additional questions or suggestions regarding future webinars. How can this be made more interactive? How can it be made more fun? Any changes in the formatting of the slides? particular sections, maybe things to add, please, your feedback is more than welcome. Okay, these sessions are, after all, for you. Okay, thank you so much. I think I kept to the time pretty well. We're an hour and 45 seconds. Thank you so much for your questions, for your interaction, and for your time. So we will share this out. The recording will be shared out with you, and also the slide deck. I believe it's going to be in PDF. So you can go ahead and reference that at your leisure. And please do not hesitate to reach out to us should you need any further clarity or any assistance. Okay, then if there's people that I don't speak to by December, I wish you all a very merry festive season and a happy new year. Okay, thank you so much. Blessings, a best of wishes, and then we will chat to you soon.